Live from WTVO 17 and your home team. Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
A Rockford resident celebrates his 100th birthday with a drive-by salute. We learn more about what this World War II veteran has accomplished over the years. Plus, a state representative hands out useful tools for students' education, how this could help aid in helping the digital gap divide in the Forest City. And families are still grieving the loss of loved ones from the FedEx mass shooting in Indiana. Hear from them and how investigators have found new details. Good evening, I'm Alexis Carpello. A Rockford resident is celebrating his century milestone. Ari Bruckman was there for the drive-by salute for the World War II veteran. He talks more with the birthday boy about his lifetime of accomplishments.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm impressed with everything that's happened here. I can't believe it.
Today, World War II veteran Sam Caruana celebrated his 100th birthday. To commemorate his time in our armed forces, Vets Roll held the drive-through parade outside his Rockford home. Caruana wants people to understand why it's still important we celebrate World War II veterans.
Realize what's happened in the past so that you can, think about what's happening today, the world over, and realize that, who before you went through what we went through.
Mark Finnegan started Vets Roll to honor former World War II veterans like his father, who passed away in 2000. He says while they have done several celebrations, they are all significant.
There's 13 of our Vets Roll veterans that are either aging 99 to 105 this year. And so since we're not on the road with the Vets Roll trip, we're making sure that they know that we remember what they did. And Sam Caruana is our hero today, and man, what an awesome turnout we've got here. This is great.
Finnegan says what Caruana was able to accomplish during his time in the military is truly remarkable.
He's a veteran of the Army. He was a forward field observer, 5 different battle campaigns, plus he's liberated a concentration camp too. So just incredible. They don't make them like that anymore.
Caruana tells me this drive-through parade caught him by surprise, and he is grateful for everyone who continues to support our military. In Rockford, for your home team, I'm Ari Bruckman.
2 people are taken to the hospital after a single vehicle crash. It happened this morning around 5:45 on Bypass 20 between Alpine and 20th Street. Illinois State Police say the driver lost control of the vehicle, striking the median. The driver was ejected from the vehicle. They're listed in critical condition. The passenger in the vehicle was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Eastbound lanes on US 20 were shut down for nearly 2 hours. Lanes are now back open. ISP is still investigating the crash. US 51 in Nillens Road south of Janesville is shut down due to a head-on collision crash. Janesville police say there are multiple people with injuries and the highway is shut down so the Med Flight helicopter can land. We'll update you at mystateline.com when we learn more on this crash. It's been 10 years since a Rockford woman and her 2 young sons were murdered. Despite the decade passing, no arrests have been made. Natasha Cleary and her 2 sons were killed in their Canterbury Lane home in 2011. The home was then set on fire. A day later, investigators say a masked man tried using Cleary's debit card at an ATM on Rockton Avenue, only a 10-minute walk from their home. Those photos have yet to lead to a suspect. And if you know anything about the incident, call police or leave an anonymous Crime Stoppers tip. Some Rockford students were able to gain new tools thanks to a program that helps lessen the education digital divide. State Representative Maurice West passed out the new tablets and Chromebooks to students at Beautiful Beginnings as part of the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus Education Gap and Digital Divide program. Directors of the nonprofit say this will help their students succeed.
The Illinois Legislative Black Caucus and Maurice West donating technology and showing these computers and laptops are for the families to take home. That's incredible. We realize we have to resource our community differently.
Beautiful Beginnings is currently enrolling students for their summer programs. Statewide, over 3,000 additional residents test positive for COVID-19, bringing the state's total caseload to almost 1.3 million total cases. 23 more residents have died due to the virus, including a male from Lee County. He was in his 70s. Illinois' rolling positivity rate sits under 5%. Yesterday, over 160,000 Illinois residents rolled up their sleeve for a dose of the COVID vaccine. That brings the state's total of doses to over 7.9 million. The rolling daily average is more than 127,000 doses. The global death toll from the coronavirus topped 3 million people today amid setbacks in vaccination campaigns and resurgences in certain countries. The United States accounts for more than 1 in 6 of the world's COVID-19 deaths. Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor reports on the federal government's latest efforts to combat the pandemic domestically and internationally. She's keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
The World Health Organization reports about 1 in 4 people in wealthy countries have been vaccinated, compared to about 1 in 500 in poor countries. U.S. health officials say they have a responsibility to make those numbers more equal to protect Americans now and in the future.
The increasing trends in cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are very concerning.
More than a year into the pandemic,
they threaten the progress we've already made.
Warnings ring out from the U.S. to the World Health Organization.
This is approaching the highest rate of infection that we have seen so far during the pandemic.
The coronavirus has now killed 3 million people across the globe, with more than 1 in 6 deaths happening in the U.S. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky blames the continued spread of highly transmissible variants,
which makes the race to stop the transmission even more challenging and threatens to overwhelm our healthcare system again.
On Friday, the Biden administration announced a new $1.7 billion investment in the nation's fight against variants.
To bolster the ability of the CDC and state and local public health departments to monitor, track, and defeat emerging threats.
Health officials stress vaccinations are also vital in this effort. More than 1/5 of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated, despite pausing the use of the Johnson & Johnson shot.
The actions taken by CDC and the FDA this week should give Americans confidence that our safety system is working for them.
The Biden administration recently announced a partnership with Japan, India, and Australia to expand global vaccine supply.
A pandemic that is a global pandemic requires a global response.
President Biden has so far refused to make any commitments to give away vaccines made in the U.S., insisting Americans come first. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
There's some new details following the investigation of the deadly FedEx shooting in Indiana. Hear from a family that lost 2 loved ones in this mass shooting.
It's been an overall pleasant Saturday. We had mild temperatures and even a good bit of sunshine, but we're tracking a good chance for some snow early next week. Find out how much could pile up coming up in the forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Alexis Carpello, David Greenberg, and meteorologist Kevin Doom.
There's new information about the mass shooting at a FedEx facility in Indiana. Investigators are learning more about the 8 victims. Half of them belong to the city's Sikh community, drawing new questions about the killer's motive. ABC's Ike Ejiochi is in Washington with the latest.
A community reeling. Members of the local Indianapolis community trying to find the strength to recover from yet another mass shooting.
Show empathy. Show love.
These scenes are part of 2 vigils taking place today in honor of the victims. Police say 19-year-old Brandon Hole killed 8 people at a FedEx facility in Indianapolis, wounding 5 others before taking his own life. Half of the victims, including 66-year-old Amarjeet Johal, pictured here in the middle, are members of the local Sikh community. The victims' ages range from 19 to 74 years old. Speaking to GMA overnight, one woman who lost 2 loved ones says she's hoping family members from India can pay their respects.
We can't even schedule a funeral. We have to make sure that our cousin, my sister's brother can get here so he can see her one last time.
They were planning a birthday party for a child this weekend, now in mourning.
And that's it. Everything is gone.
According to the FBI, the suspect was questioned by investigators in March of 2020 after his mother told police she was concerned he might be planning a suicide by cop. Agents questioned the teen and seized a pump-action shotgun, but did not charge him. Then, Thursday night, authorities say the 19-year-old, a former employee, started shooting in the parking lot at the FedEx hub, then moving inside, randomly spraying gunfire, killing employees. Police are still unsure of the suspect's motive. However, a spokesman for the Sikh community fears his neighbors were directly targeted.
Fear is of the unknown, and people do not know about us because of our appearance, about what we wear, and beard and turban, and that's why most of the time we are the victim of hate crimes.
This is the third mass shooting this year in Indianapolis. Ika Giacchi, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up later in sports, David Greenberg was enjoying some of that beautiful day at a few high school football games around the area. He's got those highlights next. Plus, can we expect more of this sunshine we had today tomorrow? Kevin will let us know in his first warn weather forecast next. You're watching Eyewitness News at 6.
Now your first warm weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Doom.
Lower temperatures made it back into the 60s today in Rockford, as well as a lot of other spots throughout the state line. Most of the area was actually stuck in the 50s. 61 is the current temperature here in Rockford, 59 up in Janesville, 56 in Freeport, and 59 currently for a temperature down in Rochelle. Our weather watcher Jim here in Rockford recently checking in with a temperature of 62 degrees. Now here's a live look over the Park Hills Golf Course in Freeport using our Merciel Skytrack, where we're still seeing more clouds than sunshine, but we are seeing a good deal of blue sky overhead as well. It's pretty much been the story for our Saturday, but we're actually starting to see a little bit of thinning in our cloud cover as we head on into the evening. We do see a few showers sitting to our south, but those should stay away from the state line. We should remain dry through the rest of the night here, but we are keeping a close eye on this still developing system, just starting to push into parts of Montana and North Dakota now. So still well up to our northwest. I know it doesn't look like a whole lot just yet, but it's actually going to bring us a fairly messy situation as we head into the early part of next week. But in the meantime, we're not really expecting anything in terms of rain pretty much until that system reaches us. No chance of rain through the night tonight. In fact, we're going to see a little bit of clearing in our cloud cover, which is going to continue on through the night. There is a slight chance we could see a few very light passing showers as we head on into the afternoon tomorrow. Otherwise, we're actually going to see a little bit more sunshine tomorrow than what we saw today, but still a good deal of cloud cover overhead as well. Cloud cover should remain fairly light as we head on through the rest of our Sunday, but fill in pretty quickly heading into Monday morning, out ahead of this storm system that's going to bring us a chance for some snow and some rain. So this is going to come as a cold front moves into the area, going to begin as some rain as early as Monday afternoon, likely going to continue on some scattered showers through the majority of our Monday, but as temperatures cool off overnight, we'll likely start to see some snow mix in there as well. And then there could be a pretty lengthy period actually heading into Tuesday morning where we see strictly snowfall. We'll likely see a little bit of rain join in once again as we head on into Tuesday afternoon. Things warm up just a bit, but we could expect a decent amount of snowfall. Now, how much is still fairly uncertain. That's because the track of this storm system is not quite certain yet. It's not quite agreed upon among all models. So as you can see here, there is a pretty decent swath of snowfall that's planning to cut across from the northwest, the southwest to the northeast once this storm system passes over. Now, where this track of the heavier snowfall is going to sit is still fairly uncertain. This is sort of the median right here. This is the European model that we're looking at. Some models have it pushing a little bit further to the north, meaning we'll get more snowfall. Others have a little bit further to the south, but it is trending northward a little bit more toward the state line. But nonetheless, we could very well actually see some measurable snow. And a fun fact, we've never actually seen a measurable snowfall on an April 20th, which is this upcoming Tuesday. We've only seen as much of a trace, but we actually haven't seen any snowfall whatsoever on an April 20th since back in 1959. Conditions, though, tonight are going to remain dry. Temperatures going to drop down to the upper 30s. We are back in the low 60s tomorrow. Once again, a little bit more sunshine overhead than what we saw today. As this cold front moves on through, it's going to bring our temperatures down to near 40 degrees, possibly even as low as the upper 30s on Tuesday. That's going to be nearing a record. Currently, the coldest April 20th on record sits at 40 degrees for a high, but temperatures do recover through the rest of the week. We should be back in the middle to upper 50s by the end of the week.
All right, well, thanks, Kevin. David Greenberg is in next with sports. He says the Dupec Rivermen have been on a roll. They were in action today. David's got some highlights of their high-powered offense.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with David Greenberg.
Well, today was supposed to be the Nick 10 game of the year between Boylan and Harlem, but as we've said since Thursday, Boylan had to cancel due to COVID protocols. The Huskies scrambled to find an opponent. They wound up hosting Prairie Ridge this afternoon at Peterson Stadium. Things were back and forth pretty much all game long, tied at 7-all. Harlem just inside the 5. Cooper rolls out right, squeezing it into a tight window. It's tipped, but Adrian Palos is able to come away with the catch for the score. Prairie Ridge would respond. If you thought there was no doubt here that QB handed it off to the running back, you and I are on the same side. What a fake, and it leads to this result, a big-time score by quarterback Tegan Trost. Much has been made of the Huskies' talented receiving corps. Last week it was the Dominic McCarron show. This week, the Dezion Jordan show, getting open on the slant. Then he'll take the screen pass here from James Cooper, shifting gears and getting in for the score. Harlem ends up winning a thriller over Prairie Ridge, 43-42. With the final week of the high school football season on the horizon, things are starting to slow down a bit. But I'll tell you who isn't slowing down. The Dupec Rivermen. Today they hosted Eastland Pearl City at Auburn's Wyeth Stadium. Last week, Hunter Hoffman had 7 touchdown passes against Orangeville. That's technically one here on the forward pass. An easy one for Hoffman, considering Trey Stifter is going to do all the dirty work for him. EPC showed flashes on offense during the game. Here's Kellen Hensey throwing it downfield to an open Kaysen Witt, who gets yanked down just shy of the end zone, but the Cougars would punch it in shortly after. Here's another one of those easy forward passes from Hoffman to Gabe Howard. He's through the left side with one man to beat, and he finds the end zone. Here's one last cool moment from this game. Gabe Howard's younger brother, Will, who's the team's backup quarterback behind Hoffman, comes in and dumps it down to his brother on the screen, but little did everyone know he'd take this one 85 yards for the touchdown. Dupec improves to 4-1 with the breezy 46-6 win over Eastland. It took a lot, 2 different canceled opponents to be exact, but the Stillman Valley Cardinals found somebody to play a football game against today, and it happened to be against the Dixon Dukes in the third quarter. Dixon quarterback Jacob Gaither fires to Jacob Gussie on the slant. The Cardinals are not going to stop him. He's gone 55 yards for the touchdown. Dixon led 14-7. The Cardinals came back in the fourth quarter. First, it's Mason Engelkins scoring on a 1-yard plunge with just over a minute to play now. Caden Vivarito will score again for the Cardinals from 8 yards out. Stillman led 19-14, but Dixon had just enough time to make this downfield pass. Gaither scrambling, chucking it up to Hunter Gert. He has it for the game-winning touchdown. A crazy week and a crazy ending for the Stillman Valley Cardinals. Dixon wins this one 20-19. There are a couple more games on tap tonight. Byron will play at Winnebago and Ackland will play at Forreston. I'll have highlights from both of those games later tonight. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
Here's a look at our first sworn interactive radar, sponsored by Rockford Auto Glass and more. Mixed clouds and sunshine overhead as we've seen all day. No rain in our vicinity. Similar situation tomorrow. Maybe just 1 or 2 light passing showers as we head on into the afternoon. Otherwise, we should expect our Sunday to be mostly dry. Going to see a good deal of clouds and sunshine again, but this time around should actually see more sunshine than cloud cover for our Sunday. Now heading on into our Monday, got a cold front pushing on through. It's going to keep temperatures likely in the 50s because this front moving in the afternoon is going to bring us a pretty good rain chance through about the latter half or so of our Monday, which is going to turn into a chance for some wintry mix and eventually some snowfall for a good period Tuesday morning. Temperatures going to be stuck in the upper 30s and lower 40s and may actually see a little bit of accumulation throughout the day. Temperatures do recover fairly quickly though through the week.
Thanks, Kevin, and thanks for making us your home team. We'll see you at 10.